Okay, guys, yeah, welcome back. So once again, my name is Toyin from Negxy Concept Limited, and I'll be going live with the Birmingham City University rep, Charles Magee. Charles will be joining us right away. Okay, that's fantastic. Are we good to go?
We're good to go, yes.
All right, that's fantastic. So, thank you everyone for joining us once again. And my name is Toyin, and I have here Charles Magee from Birmingham City University, and it's going to be giving us quite a number of information as regards, your study. That's MSc and BSc program at Birmingham City University. So, do you want to know about the tuition? Do you want to know about the discounts? Do you want to know about courses? Do you want to know about the intakes available? Do you want to know jobs, opportunities in Birmingham City University? And do you want to have an idea of how safe Birmingham City University is? So we are going to explore all these questions with Charles. So after this, you've got opportunities to ask your question, and Charles will be right here to answer all your questions. Thank you so much. Charles, kindly introduce yourself to our audience.
Good afternoon, everyone in Nigeria. My name is Charles Magee. I'm the International Regional Manager at Birmingham City University. My country remit is I cover the recruitment of students all over Africa and Pakistan. A bit of an interesting mix.
Charles, can you actually talk about Negxy Concept? Can you talk about the relationship between Negxy Concept and Birmingham City University?
Yes, we've been in business for at least 3 or 4 years, and you're a relatively new agency, a recruitment agency in the market, but you're a very dynamic agency. When I first came to your office, I thought, okay, they're novelties, they're new to the market, they're getting their feet together. But guess what? Your agency is now our #1 agency in Nigeria because you deploy lots of innovative methods of liaising with students at where they're at, particularly this Instagram. This is the first Instagram live video I've ever done, so it's an honor. So you're quite an innovative agency. That's one of the first major things. And we've got a good working relationship stemming back those 3-4 years that we've been liaising with each other.
So thank you so much for that. So it's quite clear to everyone on this live, we are #1 agency for Birmingham City University, UK. So you've got you stand a very good chance with your admissions and visa processing with Negxy Concept Limited. Okay, Charles, let's move to the next question. So tell me about the offerings, postgraduate packages, programs, offered by BCU.
Okay, we've got 4 faculties, and each of those faculties have postgraduate programs within them. So we've got one faculty, business law, social sciences, another engineering and the built environment, another art, design, media, and the final one is in the health and education and life sciences. So typically a lot of students are interested in business programs. So we have programs like international MBA, management and international business, management and finance, management and entrepreneurship. Then we've also got specialist masters like international human resource management, finance and investment for those who want to go in the stock market. For accountants, part qualified like ICANN, ACCA part qualified, we have ACCA programs as well. We've got a platinum center for ACCA as well. And we've got a few others. In the law, we have international business law, international human rights. And if people want to do like professional oriented, we got a PGCE, and we got LLM legal practice courses as well. And in in other programs, we've got in computing, we have artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, advanced computer science, mechanical engineering. Then in art design, media, we've got public relations, it's quite popular with Nigerians, and various broadcast media. And you have to go into it to really find out what you really want. And in the health, the biggest, most popular program in Nigerians is public health. We got an MPH in public health as well. So that gives you a synopsis, a quick synopsis of a range of master programs at BCU.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. So on a scale of 1 to 5, or probably you should just, maybe you should choose about 1 to 5 courses, programs, MSc programs in Birmingham City, considering the, UK job market. So what courses, or which of those courses that you've mentioned can you recommend, for in Nigeria, for an international student to, enroll, that, okay, would increase their chances of, getting jobs, basically?
Right. Okay. There's some caveats I have to talk about here. I'll answer some. Our school fees are 13,200. People are asking questions as we're talking. So it depends.
Yeah.
Getting jobs, it depends what type of jobs and what your objective is, etc., etc. There are sometimes, do you want to get part-time jobs? Do you want to get undergraduate route or graduate route after your master's and then come back to Nigeria? Or do you have an objective of getting a skilled worker visa after? Now, it's quite complicated, and I'll just take key themes. Generally, employers are looking for certain skills: good communication skills or excellent communication skills, good interpersonal skills with other people, team working skills, and then various IT skills, numeracy skills, and then be able to work on Microsoft Office packages quite well, etc. I could go on. And then obviously some jobs require more IT skills. So in terms of where the big jobs are, artificial intelligence, there's a skill shortage. So if we were talking about where's the skill shortages, one area is artificial intelligence, and then if people has an ultimate objective to get the skilled worker visa, not necessarily get the highest paid money in 2 years, but get a job after a graduate route, then doing a PGCE in secondary mathematics teaching is a good route, because with a skill shortage of maths teachers at high school, so if you do the PGCE, then apply for the graduate route, subject that's acceptable with the UKVI, then afterwards, during that time period on the graduate route, you can then apply for a skilled worker visa. And given the fact there was a skill shortage of secondary school teachers in mathematics, it's more or less guaranteed that you then could get a skill beyond the skilled worker visa. And once you're on that, it's entitlement for settlement afterwards. So there's many multifaceted aspects to this. So people have to really ask, okay, this is my objective, this is my motivation, and then I go forward to go backwards. Does that make sense?
Sure, definitely. Actually, from what I could pick from everything you said, anyone coming to study in the UK should be looking towards IT, health programs, teaching, basically, and obviously artificial intelligence is also IT. So anyone that actually plans to come to Birmingham City University should look into courses like IT courses.
Well, it depends.
Like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence.
Well, it depends what your objective is. If your objective is to do a master's program and finish it and return to Nigeria, you need to ascertain what Nigerian employers are looking for in terms of programs. So therefore, the management or international MBA may be sufficient for purpose. But if you, for instance, have an aspiration of doing the graduate route or the graduate route afterwards, and then after that, applying for the skilled worker visa, then the questions become more complicated. The recommendations change. Does that make, to make it simple, what you want to do after your master's course changes the advice? Does that make sense?
Sure. That's clear enough. So it's actually based on your objectives or your goal. So if you actually want to study and go back to Nigeria, so you have to study something that is well accepted or well acceptable in Nigeria, for Nigeria economy or job opportunities. And if you're looking towards that's the skilled worker visa, then you make mention of those courses that international students can look into. Yes, that's very clear. Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Just
yes.
on clarity.
So,
okay. Just toss some clarity on this. Right, a person chooses a master's course or PGCE. Afterwards, they can stay back in the UK for the graduate route, and during the graduate route, they can apply for the skilled worker visa. But to get on the skilled worker visa, it's dependent on the type of job and work you're doing. So it's not you go straight to the skilled worker visa. You go do the master's, graduate, go on the graduate route or graduate route, and then afterwards, if you fit in to the skilled worker criteria, then you can get on the skilled worker. So there's 3 steps. So a person could apply for a master's, want to just do 2 years in the graduate route, and then return back to Nigeria. So there's there's one advice for those who want to graduate and go straight back. There's advice for those who want to study a master's and just do a graduate route and return to Nigeria. There's a different advice for those who want to do the graduate master's graduate route, then skilled work visa. Does that make sense?
Yes, sure. So I'm very sure most Nigerians would actually want to explore the skilled worker visas. I'm very sure of that. Okay, that's fantastic. And thanks so much for such clarifications. So let's talk about the tuition. So tell me about Birmingham City master's tuition, the duration of a master's program at Birmingham City University, the discount available, and also let's talk about the processing duration for admission. So how long does it take for an admission to be offered?
Okay, all right. I'll answer each of those questions in sequential order. So to apply for us, because the admissions team were catching up on a lot of applications. They were dealing with January applications. So a lot of applications from September, they've been catching up. They're not in January applications. So it's taken like 4 to 5 weeks. We can fast track applications for people who are really keen on coming to just BCU. So I'll talk about that later. So once you apply, get an offer, send your deposit, and show your bank statements, etc. You get a CAS. Then with the CAS, you apply for the student visa. You go for the interview. You show ECO officer that you're a credible student. And after you pass that test, you get the student visa. You fly to the UK and you start your program. The programs, master's programs, they cost £13,200. Most cost that price. There's some exceptions. International MBA is a little bit more expensive. ACCA programs are a little bit more cheaper, and you have to have enough money for your fees plus your living costs minus the scholarship we give you. Now our scholarships are between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds, depending on your academic attainment. If you got a second class lower division, we'll give you 1,000 pounds discount. If you got a second class upper division, we give you 1,500 pounds. And if you got first class, we'll give you 2,000 pounds discounted from the tuition fees. And the living costs to get the visa, the living cost is £9,207. So how does this work out? How much money do you need for a student visa? Now, if you've got a second class lower division, so what you need to do is take £13,200 minus £1,000, that brings it to £12,200, and then add £9,207 to that. Do it in my head. It's about £21,407. And then you multiply that by the exchange rate. And so I think it's like 500. No, it's not the black market exchange rate. No, it's
I think it's 603, 605.
Okay, it's an official rate that certain websites will give you the official rate, and that's what the UKVI measure. So it's not exactly the black market rate, it's a mid-market rate. But I very much understand when you send your deposits, you have to go to the black market and get the deposit, the money in sterling, and send your money over to the UK. So that's a little bit the process. So I think I've covered applications, the tuition fees minus the scholarship, plus the living costs. So I think roughly speaking, in Nigerian money, you'll need roughly about 11 million naira to come to the UK to get a visa.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Sorry about that. So you actually said BCU is actually going through quite a number of applications at the moment, mostly January applications. So it's very expedient for anyone who is looking at September applications to apply as quick as possible, because it's actually going to take much longer a bit. And you said there is a fast track process, for anyone who genuinely wants to come to BCU. So I wanted to explain, that aspect properly.
Okay. The fast track would operate through yourselves. We want to see that you can genuinely afford to come here. Now, the reason for that is for a student to come and study in the United Kingdom, you need a student visa. Now, it's not the university rules. There's an organization called the UKVI, United Kingdom Visa and Immigration. They're the ones who decide who gets in. One of their criteria is that you've got your fees minus the scholarship plus the living costs. They dictate outside central London how much the living costs are in the United Kingdom. So, and also we've got a lot of lectures, and we have new buildings and fantastic facilities. They don't come cheap. These have to be paid for by the students. And the UK government doesn't really pay universities any more money. So all our buildings, equipment, and staff fees, they all have to be paid through tuition fees. And so that's what it is. So the fast track, get to the point, is if people can show evidence that you can afford 11 million naira, then, and show evidence and convince the agency here that you've got that and you want to fast track it, we can look at your applications and make a quicker decision, and you can skip the queue to use British English.
Okay, so in how many days would that be?
Fast track about 3 or 4 days. Fast track.
Fantastic.
Ordinary processing 5-6 weeks. But we're in March now, March 17th, so we've got plenty of time. There's not a hurry, but get your application in. Now, can I just talk about what we're looking for in an application? So what we're looking for,
right, that's fine,
is a WAG, and in your WAG, you've attained C6 or above in English language skills. We don't unfortunately accept NECO for English language, but we have a BCU English test if you haven't got a WAG. So we've no online English test. Then we're looking for master's programs. We're looking for, you've got your bachelor's certificate and your bachelor's transcript. Now, if you haven't got your bachelor's certificate and you only graduated last year, the year before, within the last 5 years, we'll accept a notification of result with your transcript. Then we're looking that students complete a personal statement, where the personal statement is focused on why you like the program, i.e. explain about 3 or 4 modules, why you like the course. The program leaders don't want to hear too much about your personal story. You can put it in 1 paragraph, but what they want each paragraph is you talk about the modules on the program. So especially public health, they want you to give a paragraph in each module why you're interested in it. And by doing that, you demonstrate an interest. And then at the last paragraph, they want to see your plans for the future. So after the program, what you're going to do afterwards. So they want a really professional, personal statement. And so those are some things. Scan copies of your international passport ID page. If you've been to the UK before, or you've studied in a different country, we want to see your visa and stamp marks. But if you haven't, that's okay, etc. So those are the core items I could say at this moment in time.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Charles. So, Charles, let's talk about Birmingham City. So tell me about Birmingham City. Is it far from London? You know, tell me about people in Birmingham City. Is it safe for international students? You know, the accommodation, the city. Can you just give me a little overview of Birmingham City University?
Okay, so it's, first of all, the city. The city is based in the center part of Birmingham, and so it's in at the central part of England. So in the United Kingdom, we have 4 states: England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. England is the predominant state in the United Kingdom. Central part of England is this city of Birmingham. It's about, by train, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes from central London. So imagine where London is in the map and look northwest. 1 hour and 40 minutes by train northwest comes the 2nd largest city in the UK, and this city, Birmingham. It's a multiracial, multicultural city. So Nigerians, we've got Nigerian community living in the city. So we've got Nigerian churches here as example, Redeem, Winners Chapel, Christ Embassy. So we have got
Fantastic.
that. And culture, and we've got African restaurants in the city. So we have a little bit African. So Nigerian students find it very comfortable place to live and to study in, and it's not too far from London, but it's quite a bit cheaper than London. So that's and it's very dynamic for a young city, and the city centre is has lots of like bars, nightclubs, restaurants. It has all entertainment. It has hotels, conference center, exhibition centers, etc. So it is a cosmopolitan city. In many surveys of international cities, you know, of value for money and things, it has. Birmingham has been in the top 20 as a global city, especially in terms of value for money for cosmopolitan cities. The university itself is an applied university, and so recently it's been listed as a top 7 university for employability. And what that means is our applied knowledge, learning and skill enhancement helps students, British nationals in particular, gives them the skills that employers need to do jobs. So our employability is very, very high. It's a university that has fantastic facilities. We've been spending £340 million approximately in developing our campuses. We used to be based in the city north area of Birmingham, but now we're in the city centre because previous students say, We want a city center experience, what Americans call the downtown experience. So it's now in the city center, and the buildings are new, and they've got fantastic facilities. Like in the media suite, we have like 5 media studios, like with TV cameras, radio broadcast quality. And in fact, we have as far as we're aware, we have the largest green room of any UK universities that we know of. In one of the previous Star Wars movies, for 1 week's shooting, they were doing sword fighting in one of the or in our green room, and then they use a green background, and then process that, and then what to do post production is to put a lunar landscape. So you've seen people fighting in a different planet, but they weren't fighting in a different planet. We were fighting in our green room, and so that gives an indication. Like in our business business school, we have like a financial tracking system which gives the latest information of the London Stock Exchange. So people who are learning like finance and investment can learn what it's like in the financial center and the data that comes, and they're taught. So what we're trying to do as a university is give people the skills and applied knowledge that the employers want. Like every 3 years, we update our curriculum so that it's relevant, it's contemporary, and it's what will give people the best chance to be ready and hit the road running. And so that, in essence, is what we're about. It's a very much applied education.
Thank you so much, Charles, for that. That's pretty, clear. Thank you so much, so much. Okay, so you actually missed out the accommodation aspect. So kindly throw more light. How much and how cheap is, accommodation in Birmingham?
Okay, I'm just going to get my microphone while I'm talking. Now, you've a different.
All right.
This city's interesting in a number of aspects. You can choose to live in accommodation, University Hall of Residence, state-of-the-art ensuite facility. So you have your own student room, and there's a WC, and there's a bathroom with WC, hand basin, and shower unit, and then your own main room has a large-size single room, office, high-speed Wi-Fi, and then there's a kitchen where 4 or 6 students share, and the kitchen is state-of-the-art. It's really beautiful. And so students would pay, I think, 130 to 145 pounds per week, depending on their contract. Wow. Now, but the thing about this city is
that's great.
But the thing about this city is, you can take a bus, buy a bus ticket, about a weekly bus pass for about 10, 12 pounds per week, and you could live like in Handsworth area of Birmingham in a shared house for half the price. So if you don't want to pay all that money, and you don't want to be right beside in the campus area, and you don't mind spending 15 minutes on a bus, 20 minutes, say, lived in Handsworth, you could live in a shared house for half that price, sometimes less. You just have to take individual responsibility in paying a meal. So if a 3-bedroom semi-detached house has 3 bedrooms, you could rent out a room in that house and share costs. So that's an option that's available.
Okay, thank you so much, Charles. So let's quickly talk about the work permit, basically. So tell us the work permit available for international students at Birmingham City University, the part-time work permit, the 2 years post-study work permit, and what range, or maybe I should just say, how much can a student earn working in Birmingham City University?
Right. I think you need to rephrase that. I'm just looking at some of the questions. Um, what I was talking about
Okay, can you
earlier.
hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you. What I was saying, I was just looking at some of the comments. Oh, um, 1 second. I've got a new iPad here, and I just revised the old
Okay.
device doesn't fix into it. So I was just saying about our accommodation. Our accommodation is what I was saying. I remember when I was a student accommodation was very basic. What I mean by our student accommodation, it's very modern, and it's very design friendly, and it's quite nice to live in. A students now living in halls compared to 20 years ago. They have a nicer deal than ever before. So that's what I meant. Some of the questions. So one person say, "Oh, we have nice kitchens in Nigeria," blah blah blah. Nice. I say, yes, you do. I've been to Nigeria often, so it's not. I've been to people's homes, so don't get the wrong impression. I'm not saying things in Nigeria are not nice. I'm just saying what it's like currently compared to a historical point of view. Now, on the question about the PSW, it's now called the graduate route or graduate route. I pronounce it. What has to happen is, if you apply it in September, do your master's, 12 months later, you apply for the graduate route, and that's what's commonly called a PSW. It costs £700 to apply for the visa, and then once you get that, then you can work full-time legally for 2 years in the United Kingdom. And so, or be looking for, you don't have to get a job immediately. You could be looking for work within those two years. In terms of work, now a lot of students get part-time work during their studies. So often because part-time jobs are often in factories and supermarkets, or restaurants or other places, often they're kind of low-paid jobs. But because the high-paid jobs are often you have to work Monday to Friday 9 to 5, but that's during student hours. So when you're a graduate, you can apply for full-time jobs during that time period. So the graduate route gives you the legal opportunity to work 2 years after your studies. There is no minimum pay you have to earn, and there's no maximum, etc. So you apply for the jobs, and you have to compete against other students and other people. And if you get the job, you get whatever the employer is willing to pay. In the United Kingdom, there's a minimum wage level. Employers must pay above a certain rate, or they could be breaking the law.
Okay,
does that make sense?
Sure, it does. Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for that. So I also asked, for the part-time work, how much can a student earn?
Okay, it depends on a person's knowledge and skills. There's a minimum. On average, students will get £8.50 to £9. So if they have a job within the university, I think they can get more than £9 per hour, £9.30. I can't remember the exact level, but on supermarkets it's over £8 per hour. So you can work 20 hours a week during term time, and then full time during vacation periods such as Christmas and Easter. And so often, if you have a job in the supermarket, often you work full time because a lot of people they're so busy, and they need every worker on hand. And also the full-time workers often want time off for Christmas, take holidays, or they want to take time off because their school kids are at home. So for part-time workers over Christmas and Easter, you can easily work full-time hours.
Okay, thank you so much once again for all of this explanation. So I will just roll through, quickly our chats.
Okay.
We have quite a number of persons here. They've asked quite a number of questions too. So I'll
Okay.
just be taking those questions one by one, and you just answer.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So this person says, do you give partial scholarship?
Well, yes, we do. We give between £1,000 and £2,000 discount from the tuition fees. So it's, as mentioned earlier, it's based on your academic attainment. So if you got a first-class degree, we will give you £2,000. Now our scholarship is going to be changed slightly, but that's the broad remits of our scholarship.
All right. So the next question is, how much is your school fees for 2021-2022 intake?
£13,200.
All right. Thank you. Do you offer education studies?
We offer education programs, PGCE. We have an MA Masters in International Education. Yeah, so in a nutshell, yes, we do. Next question.
So what's the qualifications? What's the requirement for the international education?
I think if you want to study a master's in education, now you have to be clear on this. You can study a master's in international education, but that won't allow you, it won't permit you to become a teacher at a school in the UK. If you want to become a teacher, you have to do a PGCE, not a master's program. In education, in a nutshell,
thank you for that. So
yeah, there's a professional route and an academic route. To work in a school afterwards, you have to choose a professional track like the PGCE.
Okay. So if you want to teach in the UK, you need to take a PGCE instead of a master's program.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you so much. So what are the prospects for civil engineering?
It depends if you're a civil engineer, let me just double check this. I'm going to go to our website. I just want to double check something while we're on air.
All right.
Okay.
I guess this person just want to know the opportunities for civil engineers in the UK.
Okay.
What they can study.
Yeah, we have a master's program in civil engineering, and so it starts in September 2021. In terms of employability afterwards, working in the UK as a civil engineer, you would need to check various websites to find out the employability. But I know there's a skill shortage in certain engineering types. What I don't know is what type of engineering there's a shortage of.
Hello?
Hello?
Charles, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, your next question.
All right. Um, the next question is, how long does it take to be offered admission after submitting documents? I think you answered this question already.
Yes, typically 4 to 5 weeks, but we can fast track applicants who show that they have at least 11 million naira in their bank account.
Okay, so normal application period is 4 to 5 weeks, but if you want, a quicker process within 1 to 3 days, that means you need to show a proof that you can actually afford to pay your fees.
Yes.
The next question is, what's your advice? All right, sorry.
Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, so what's your advice on 1 year or 2 years MSc with 1 year work placement?
I didn't quite understand the question, but let me make an interpretation. Is it better to do an academic master's?
I think the person is trying to know. Okay, I think this person is trying to know what's the benefit of studying a 1 year program, or a 2 year program, or 1 year placement. What's the benefit?
Okay, it's about employers, future employers. If you contrast someone with a master's program without work experience against a graduate with master's program with experience, on the law of averages, an employer would prefer someone with the education plus some work experience. So in other words, having work experience like in a professional placement enhances your employability opportunities.
That's great. Thank you so much for that.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, this person is saying, I would like to go for MSc adult nursing. I want to know if after the program I would be employable in the UK with current policy of not employing Nigerian health workers. I didn't get this.
The UK don't discriminate on nationality. I just want to check we're offering a master's program in nursing. I don't think we're offering it.
No,
we have undergraduate programs.
I'm not so sure.
We're not offering master's programs in nursing. We have various specialized training for nurses, but not a master's in nursing. And some of these training courses are part-time, and international students cannot get a visa for a part-time course.
That's correct, yeah. Okay, so what's the cost of living like in Birmingham?
Cheaper than London. And also I mentioned before, it depends where in Birmingham you want to live. If you want to live in the city center, not just either university accommodation, but if you want to live in a very nice apartment in the city center, it costs twice as much than 15 minutes away. In the same way, in Lagos, if you want to live in an apartment in VI, it costs more money than Ikeja. So likewise, in Birmingham, it costs more money in the city center. So but for UK VI purposes, they asked for a figure of £9,207. It's best to think about that is the figure that the UK government will require from you?
Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly move. So the second question, I think this person, let me just rephrase this question because I'm not sure I'm quite clear about this question. So, but let me just reframe it. This person said he applied to Birmingham City like last year and was denied an admission. So he said he had third class. So now he's asking if that was the reason why he wasn't offered an admission.
I can't say individually. It was, the only thing is most of our programs don't accept people third class. The minimum criteria is you have to have 2-2 or second class lower division to apply. There's only two programs, master programs, we allow people third class. It's International MBA and MSc Management and International Business. Those two programs you can apply, and there's a built-in pre-masters in the course. So instead of the course taking 12 months, I think it takes 15 or 16 months. So you do a free pre-master's course at the beginning, and then you start the master's program properly in January time. So if a person did not apply for those two programs and applied anywhere else, that's probably the reason they got the offer rejected. Or if they got a third class and didn't do anything else afterwards, perhaps that's the reason.
Okay, thank you. So let me quickly rush through. Rush through some other questions.
Yes, I have another meeting to go to, so I've only got about 2 minutes left.
All right. Okay. Just a second. Okay, can a third class degree get a master's program? I think that's that's the question you answered a few minutes ago. Yeah. I think some of the questions here you've answered them, so I'm trying to scroll through quickly. Okay, this person says, can someone with second class lower in microbiology apply for masters in social work?
Currently, yes, but the problem is our MA social work intake for September 2021 is already full up, and they've closed filler applications. So you need to, if you're thinking about it, you need to think about September 2022. Basically, I'll just finish with this. For social work, you need to have, a lot of it's not just academic. Academic skills is one thing, but you need to have a lot of like good social engagement skills with people. So for instance, if you're asked to go in the household where there's allegations, it could be false or it could be true, of sexual abuse in a house, do you have the attribute to learn the skills where you be able to talk to the parents, talk to the children, and quickly ascertain if there's that situation happening, i.e. you have the authority and you can get police backup to remove children from family and have them held in a holding center, in a nice holding center, until there's a court case that can evaluate the situation. So that's just one extreme example, but social workers have to have these really good acute social engagement skills to be able to read people and groups of people very well, and to handle the pressure on these social situations. And some people can do it. I know some people who really are really caring people but to carry the cares of the world home with them. Those type of people are not good for become social workers, because the situations they find themselves, they crack up, they get full of stress, and they leave work on stress leave. So I think for social work, you have to have a particular skill set to be able to want to get involved in that. Does that make sense?
Sure, definitely. Very clear enough.
Okay.
Okay, to the last question here. For students coming around with dependents, what is the employability like for those dependents?
I don't have any statistics on that. You would have to do your research, and it depends. A lot of it's to do with your education, your mannerisms, your behavior, your communication skills, your interpersonal skills. So if you go to an interview and you're very clear, you've got good communication, you're easygoing, you're nice and friendly with the person, your interviewer, and you answer the questions very well, you've got a higher chance of getting a job or being selected for it. But if you are a bit socially awkward, or you're speaking pidgin English at an interview in the UK and they find you hard to understand, and you have no experience or exposure communicating with others, and they can find you hard to listen to, then you're going to find it more difficult. So it's nothing to do with whether you're dependent or not. It's to do with your knowledge and skill set in a multifaceted way, whether you get the job or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles. Really appreciate you for coming, taking out of your busy schedule to, speak to our audience. We really appreciate. So, and I hope next time if we call on you, you would, answer us, and we'll be able to talk to students more as regards study in the UK.
You're very welcome. All right, folks, thank you very much for having me, and have a great day in Nigeria. And I wish to come over there when this whole COVID-19 situation has.
Sure, we'll be glad to have you. Honestly, we'll be glad to have you one more time. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye. Bye-bye. Yeah. Take care. So thank you, everyone, and we are making it a close already. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate your time also for joining us, and do have a great day.